All right. What's up? What's up? I think we are live. Let me just go over here and check and make sure we are rolling on Facebook.
Let me fix this. I'm gonna put this over here so we can see.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Cool, cool, cool.
Well, happy Wednesday. This is one day of the month that I do remember.
Yeah. Girl, I'll be like, it's Tuesday.
Every other
Oh,
day, I'm like, what day of the week? For some reason, I remember this day. I guess it's because we have stuff that going on, so it's kind of easier to remember um, outside of our normal everyday
um,
agendas. And
right.
so y'all gonna have to excuse me. I am in Texas with the grandbaby, so you guys get to hear him live and in action.
Hey, coming all the way from Texas. What's up, girl? How is Texas?
Well, I this weekend I'm gonna have to go outside because a few people asked me, "So what's the weather like?" And I'm like, literally, I cannot be honest with you because I've been in here. I came from the airport, came to the apartment, and I kind of just been in here. So I am gonna have to go outside, get some experience and see what it's like out there. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I am going to go to visit TD Jakes and Sarah Jakes at the Potter House this
Well, come
weekend,
on.
Sunday for church. So I'm super excited about that because when my daughter was out here and she went and she sent me pictures, I was super like not jealous, but jealous.
Right.
I was like, I want to go too. So I get the opportunity to go this weekend. And yeah, so that's going to be amazing. So stay tuned for all my pictures and all the recordings. I'm definitely going to be recording and posting.
All right, that's cool. That's exciting. I think just being able to have that experience, of being at the Potter's house and actually seeing it. I watch a lot of TD Jakes on TV and Sarah Jakes, or YouTube, should I say, and just being able to be in that atmosphere. I can
Hmm.
just imagine what that is like. And then also, secondly, just being able to have that opportunity and the privilege to get up, and to
Hmm.
travel and to be there for your children when they need you. I think that that's a great, great thing to be able to do as well. Yeah.
Yes, because definitely is not the life that I used to live.
Right.
I would have been like, oh, I don't think that's really happening, or I'm getting a road up, or have to go get the whole permission thing. So it was kind of cool just saying, okay, I'll be there and kind of just pack up and go. My work week has been a little different though, but I kind of prepared for that, so I didn't schedule a lot of things during this week and kind of took like a light week. But hey, that's why we do what we do, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we can adjust and we can pivot as need be. Well, I really wanted to talk about our prepping season and what got me really thinking about that because a lot of times we do things in life and we just do. We kind of just like we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth, wash our face, get dressed, go to the office or go wherever you got to go to school, go to
Mhm.
work, whatever you have to do. You kind of just do your day on a routine. And after you're doing that for so long, and even if you drive the same way, if you notice, you can probably drive there with your eyes closed because you just know to turn here, turn there, go straight. We just start to really just do things in robot motion, kind of so to
Mhm.
say. And then when you start to expect things,
Mhm.
we still kind of stay in the same pace and we don't really prepare for what we are expecting. So it's kind of that inspect what we expect type of thing. And I was listening to TD Jakes and it was a scripture, a whole hour of prepping for the promise. And I was like, this is interesting. So prepping for the promise, if you have not listened to that, go and listen to it because it opened up so much for me and made me understand, what season I'm in and why I need to be in this season. So basically, he was saying we need to prep for what we're expecting, just like when you cook. You prep your food, whether you prep it right before you cook it or you prep it the night before, you prep it, he shared different prepping strategies because he liked to cook. His son liked to cook, and he was talking about how he was used to like prepping like right before and then cooking. And then his son started cooking and he started prepping and marinating 2 days before or whatever. And he saw the difference in between him preparing in advance and letting it sit and marinate, and then when it was done, the result was amazing. So he started actually doing that as well, and he really directed it towards us in life. A lot of times we want things that take time, that need to be marinated, but we want it the microwave version. We want it today. We want what's going to take a year. We want it to come today. And that really resonated with me because in business, that's how we are. We create this business, we have a vision, and we start working in it. 8 hours in, we want to see the rewards.
Right.
And that's not really how it's working. You have to put in the work. You have to do the things to get the reward that's going to come later. And every for me, and just looking back on my on business, starting from business in 2018, everything that I have done has been a stepping stone. And now I'm looking at it as me preparing me for where he's taking me and what I'm supposed to do in this journey of life. How do you feel about preparing for where you're headed?
I think I think preparation is always key, right? I think that in life, somehow along the way, life has really made us lose the part of preparing. Like I feel like I was just having a conversation yesterday about things that we have to make our life easier to be able to condense the time, right?
Hmm.
To get the end result quicker. And those are things like air fryers, right? I think about these things, right? I think about microwaves, right? And we think about these things, and that's essentially how we begin to look at our goals and our dreams, meaning that I have the idea today. I'll put it in the air fryer, and then in the next 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to be a millionaire, right? And I feel like that is something that society has pushed upon us, and that's how we feel. But I agree with that message from TD Jakes, and I loved how he used the analogy as you shared around his son, who's a chef, and him, who's just a cook, right? And how the son would prepare days in advance. And then when we prepare days in advance, that the meat tasted better, right? It was such more seasoned. It was so much more tender. But when we put it in a microwave, yeah, it may have tasted good for a moment, but that real savory sense of it just wasn't there. So I think that it is a sense of urgency right now that we renew our minds to really look at what it really takes to be successful, what it really takes to lean into our dreams, our visions, our goals, our aspirations. Like we need to really take away the quick fix, and let's put these things into place. Let's marinate them. I was listening to another TD Jake sermon, and he was talking about new skin, right? Putting new wine and old skins, right? And in the Bible, it talks about even when we get new skin and we put new wine in the new skin, it isn't always ready for it to be used, right? Because it has to grow and it has to ferment. And then at the right time, that's where it is. So I think renewing our minds that we're in this for the long haul. And even though we're pouring new ideas into a new me, giving yourself time to ferment and to grow, right? One of my biggest things is that I want to make world impact, but I want to make sure I do it in my time. Like I don't want to come too quick, and then coming too quick, it loses my credibility, my trust. Like let's just sit here and marinate for a while. What is wrong with the marination? What is wrong with the prepping season? And being able to recognize, like you're saying, like recognizing the prepping season. In the prepping season is not where all the results come. It's when the hard work and the labor and the fine tuning of things and the chopping and the dicing down and being able to wrap our minds around who we are and our identity. So I'm guilty, right? I always say if you're not contradicting yourself along this journey of life, then you're really not living and you're not growing, right? So I have to say, Starshima a few years ago was like, let me pop this dream in. I got this idea. Let me put it to market. Let me sell it. It's going to be it. Well, true reality is it didn't come out like that, right? Majority of the times. And now I'm just okay with sitting back, knowing who I am and doing the work and recognizing that this is my prepping season and I want to get all the right seasoning. I want the onions, I want the bell peppers, I want the garlic. I want it to seep into this thing, whether it's the meat, right, of what it is, so that when it's time to cook that thing is going to be sweet. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So even just like, and I think we all need to really understand that because we're quick to give up or we're quick to say it didn't work. It's not that it didn't work, it's just you didn't give it enough time. Or maybe you need to pivot some things and add some different ingredients or, go back and look at what you're doing and what you can change about it. Don't give up. Because I feel like when we actually feel like we need to give up, that's when you really need to dig deep down and really dive into it because that's where I really feel the breakthrough is on the other side of where you feel like it's your time to give up. Um, so I was just super excited, like I've shared with you, the last few weeks, just being transparent. And in business, a lot of people they're not really transparent. They don't really share the the downsides, the bad sides, the ugly sides, the no money sides. Everybody is on social media and they're putting this hype, so to say. It is a blessing to have a business. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I don't want to go back to work. I am all for the hard work. I'm here for the hard days, the hard times, the payless days. I'm here for it all. But a lot of people don't tell you those things. They want to paint this picture that every day is a day that they're making max income. Every day they're selling the maximum amount of their products and services to everyone. And then you get people that start business and then they wonder, well, all these people, they started this business, they quit their jobs and, they have all this money, they have all these clients, but why isn't it not happening for me? It's giving them a false reality that when they start this business, they're going to jump into it. They're going to immediately be wealthy. They're going to immediately be able to take all their family on vacations and their calendar is going to stay booked. Reality is, and when you first start your business, that's building. So that's just like with anything. When you build a house, the next day, if you're building it from ground, it's not up and ready to run. You can't move in it. You go pick your land, go buy the land, or pick where you want to have this house built. It takes time for them to build a house, to build a structure. So when you first come in to build into business, you still have to build. You have to build who you are. You have to build your reputation. You have to build your business. You have to build your products and services. You have to go test them out. And that's why we just did a business plan workshop. And I am very glad I done it. Got a ton of really good feedback from the women that attended, and not one of them had a business plan, and not one of them really saw the value in a business plan until we started doing it. But the business plan is you're prepping for what you're going to expect. How can you expect something if you're not even preparing for it? And just so many of us, we go into business and we just go blindfolded, and I'm guilty of that. And that's why I have doing business right, is so that I can help other women not do the same things I done, not make those same mistakes. And I'm not telling them. And I feel like when we come to other business owners or women, period, and we can tell them our experience, it takes that um what is it? Kind of like when a lot of people don't like to take your opinions and suggestions because they feel like you're talking down on them or what they're doing didn't work, or you don't think what they're doing is working. And when you have somebody that's been there and they got over those hurdles and they're farther along, not more successful, farther along in success with their business than you are, it takes that pressure off, and that we're coming from you saying, hey sis, not that you're doing this wrong, but I can avoid you from making that same mistake that I made. um so that's why I think it's just really, really, really valuable that we take the steps and prepare the things that we need to prepare and get in the rooms and around the people that we need to get around to help us go and be successful in our business, because it is not easy. Your family is not going to always be like, oh girl, go girl, you good girl. They're going to be looking at you like you're crazy half the time when you're sweating, you're crying, you ain't got no money because your business is not making no money. Because I'm going to tell you, be honest, it's not going to happen. When you first start your business, do not expect to be rich, because it's just not how it works. You need to work for it. No business just popped up and said, hey, here I am, I'm making my $1 million in my first year. So you just need to be prepared for the hard parts, for the hurdles. And you need to have people around you that's going to actually support you, be honest with you, and help guide you and give you encouragement. Because a lot of times, if you don't have people around you like that, they're going to tell you to go backwards, and you're probably going to do it. I'd rather give my all into something that I believe in and that I've seen the vision in, and it not work, and then be like, at least I tried it, than to not try it and then in 10 years be like, man, I wish I would have tried it. Or what happens is somebody else come along and guess what? They had your idea too, but they implemented it and it took them time and it worked. And now you're looking at them like, had I kept doing it, I wonder if it worked. But you will never know, because when things get hard, we tend to want to stop and go back to what we are comfortable in. Uh, Being in this prepping season for whatever you're expecting is very uncomfortable. So when you're uncomfortable, that's when you're growing. When you're comfortable, you're not growing. You're complacent. You're there, and that's kind of how I was in my job. I was comfortable. I knew my job. I knew what I knew. I knew what to do. I knew what I was getting paid. Everything was comfortable for me. I had to come out of that comfortability, and I don't knock, and I say this like every time we talk. I don't knock anyone for having a job, because I had the job that I have. I was able to raise my family. I'm able to be who I am and where I'm at today. But there came a time to where it was time for me to grow out of my comfort zone and move forward into something else. And business is what it ended up being. And I'm grateful for that. When I'm looking back on it, and even me as a business owner, I want to offer my employees top notch benefits. I want to offer them the things that make them want to stay, because I want to get them to come in and train them and make them be happy to work for doing business right. Have them happy to have me as their boss. So I too want to give them all those things that my job gave me. But in reality, those are things, now that I'm a business owner, I see those are things that they give us to keep us. They say, hey, we're going to invest in this person, we're going to train them. We can't half step with giving them all these things, because if we do, the company across the street is going to offer them more pay, they're going to offer them better benefits, and then we're going to lose them. So to me, that was a limited cap for me, and it was a trap to keep me there, because I wondered, well, who else is going to pay me what they pay me without me having to go to school, get another take out another loan, more debt, and things like that. And I didn't want to go back to school. So business was like the next option. Next option for me, to where I control my income. I control, who feeds me and how they feed me, because there's products and services like I share with you. Hey, I'm gonna throw a sale, because I can get on here and throw a sale and I can make some money. And so sometimes, in this being transparent, when we throw sales, we're throwing sales to reach our goals. We have goals just like big businesses, when they don't reach their target markets, or when they have summer clothes still in and it's about to be winter, what do? They put it on sale. And what we do, we go buy it, because now it's a discounted price. So that's the same thing with small businesses. We're no different. The same practices that big businesses use, small businesses have to use them too, to stay afloat. So it's just knowing where you need to prep in your business, to sit back and actually look at your business and say, hey, this is what I need to adjust, and this is what I need to do to get to my next goal. Don't be so quick to say, this is not working, I give up, or go switch it, because you got to give it time to work. It's working. You just got to give it time. How has life been for you after Christmas? I feel like after Christmas, December and January was really, really good for me. February was my really rough month. And I can say February was the roughest month that I've had in business, period. And I'm not sure if that's just because there's like an economy shift. You got big banks that's closing, you got big companies laying people off. I had um somebody the other day I would never expect, to tell me, hey, I just got laid off my job. And I'm like, wow, what happens when you get laid off your job and you don't have a backup plan? It's just, I'm just like, it's gonna be a lot more going on, a lot more happening. So you guys, we need to really start preparing for this season of the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what businesses is shutting down. Um, don't be scared to start a business in the midst of all of this, because I started about a year before. I started my first business about a year before COVID hit. But guess what? That year that COVID hit, my business boomed right on through it. So don't be scared to start a business in the midst of all of what's going on. You just got to get out here and do it. I'll be more scared of being laid off and at the last minute and not knowing than going out starting a business. At least you can dictate that. You can kind of see where you're at when you have your job and that's all you have. and then they don't give you a notice, oh, we're laying you guys off and here's a severance pay, that's not acceptable. So make sure that we're out here starting something of our own. And I believe that we all have a gift. Do I believe that we're all supposed to be business owners? Probably not. Because then who would be the workers if we all had a business? So it's not for everybody. It's not for the weak. It's very much for somebody that is strong minded and willing to put the work in, and they're not going to let every little thing deter them um, from the process, and it just follow the journey. And that's why I say becoming her, y'all. I'll be real when I be telling y'all, becoming her is a real life journey. I'm learning who I am and what I can take, what I'm not going to take, and how strong I am.
Yeah.
What you got to say, Miss Lady?
Oh, okay. I thought you were still talking. I'm sorry. You just kind of
Girl,
stopped
I
there.
just be
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just think that in the time that we're in today, I think what I'm seeing is a lot of women pausing, like pausing and hesitating on pushing their business, and they're pausing and hesitating on pushing their business. And I think a big factor is the economic downturn.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like it is truly, and I'm not saying this to fearmonger or anything like that, is that there is a state of the economy right now that we should all be looking at. And I believe that we have found ourselves to be secure in jobs, right? And jobs are not always the security in which we need. I believe that everybody, and I believe that everybody, especially my people of color, women of color, we should be heavy on women ownership. That's my candle that's sitting on my desk here. Woman ownership, like really heavy on stimulating the economy and building businesses off of the things and the talents and the gifts that we've been given. We are our only meal ticket out the way. But what I'm seeing in the space right now is women second guessing themselves, women not fully going in and being everything that they can be, um, and to help them really create that freedom that they truly, truly want. So this is what I'm seeing out, and what I think that women need to do right now. Actually, I think I know, right? Is really helping them reconnect back to who they are. Like all the things that appear to be good, like us raising our family, us being wives, us doing all the amazing things, that we as women have lost our true identity of who we are. And in that, it makes it really hard for us in hard times to be really ready to show up. And this is one thing why I'm doing the series over in the Click for the next 4 weeks, is helping people, helping women, should I say, really be able to revolutionize their identity, and getting that connected. Because when you know who you are, you absolutely become unstoppable. When I see women halting in this season, when I see women getting scared and going into their shell in this season, says I quite don't know the magic that I have at my fingertips. Because if I really knew who I was and I really know what I have, I would move a different kind of way. Now, I'm not saying leave your 9 to 5, but how would I set myself up to keep my family secure? The reason why we work 9 to 5 jobs and we work those guaranteed hours to get those guaranteed paychecks is for security. And that's what we want as women, is security, right? So I think the greatest security that you're going to give yourself is being heavy on ownership. Now, ownership can mean a multitude of different things, but we should start looking at the ways that we can generate wealth. I think about the promises of God. Like God didn't tell us in when the economy goes bad that we can't live an abundant life. We have to be true to who we are to be able to make those shifts and be able to show up. So that's what I'm seeing in the market now. This is the thing that I think women need to start doing. And I agree with you in what you said earlier, is that women need to start getting in communities of women who are going to pull them up to their next level. This is an urgency right now in the women's community. If we're not doing this, what are we doing? Because if we would have made it, we wouldn't have shrunk in the season that we're in now, right? So that's my take on that.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I definitely think, because I definitely think it's being around the right people, being in community, because it helps keep us balanced. Um, because as most of you probably know, is when you have family, they don't want to talk about your business all the time. They happy you got your business going. That's good. That's great. But that's not what they want to talk about all the time. You can get around your business besties and actually talk about business, see what they're doing in business, see what's working, see what's not. And when you come together and you start to talk, you will start to see a lot of things that they're going through, you're going through, or you've been through, or you're going to end up going through. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember. So Shima just told me this just happened with her. Okay, let me see how she handled it. I think it's necessary. I think it's very necessary in order to be successful because you can't do it all alone. I really don't think you can do it all alone. And I was actually talking yesterday, I think it was, about how because we all want to build wealth in our businesses. We quit our job or we start a business and we want to create generational wealth because that's the big thing right now, generational wealth. I hate that this thing be turned anyway. I got a piece of hair. There we go. They want to build a generational wealth, and I was telling them about the cash flow quadrant, how you have the employees, then under that you have your self-employed, then you have your business owners, and you have your investors. And it's actually trying to be wealthy in business. You need to shift from the left side and go over to the right side. Leave being a self-employed because that's basically where most people start at. They leave their jobs or they start a business and then they're self-employed because they're working for their self and they're still exchanging time for money. But in order to really be wealthy, you have to start right there in that self-employment. That's where you're preparing and you're building to be your business owner. That's when you go through your trials and the storms and all of those things like that. So you have to go through that. You have to go through working those 10-hour shifts, working those 12-hour shifts for yourself, and maybe not get paid today for it, but you're going to get paid off the work that you do, and then learn how to shift from being a self-employed into a business owner. And when you become that business owner, that's when you own a system, you own your business. And I was just explaining to them, being self-employed is great, but you're still exchanging your time for money. And if you left your business probably would not continue. And that's why we see a lot of people that's out here, they have businesses, and when they pass on, the business no longer exists, because they didn't have systems in place to allow it to continue to exist. So we need to start looking at how can I get my business to actually run as a business without me operating in it. So in there, that's when you start to use, and I loved it. It was other people's time. It was OPT. I was like, OPT. I'm used to OPM, other people's money. But that was the two things he talked about is using OPT and OPM, other people's time, other people's money. Leveraging other people's time is meaning you hire people, train them, you duplicate yourself to come and be able to do what you would normally be able to do, which will allow you to walk away from being the employee in your business. And now you own a business and you own a system because you have people that's in there doing it. And then you go and get other people's money. You take the money that you're making from your business and you start investing it into different avenues. That way you create those additional streams of income. And I'm just like, and that's how you fall into being wealthy as a business owner. So a lot of people, they think, oh, I'm gonna start my business and I'm just gonna be wealthy from the start. I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna work these 12-hour shifts in my own business. I'm gonna be wealthy. It's really not about getting into your business, working all the hours. It's about getting into the business, building it up, creating a system, and allowing other people to do the work for you and creating those other streams of income. And now you have a system of business that when you pass on, you can actually leave a legacy to your family because now it's running without your family having to know how to operate it because you have everything in place, or them having to come and actually work in the business, because a lot of times your family don't want to work in your business. They don't want to do what you're doing, and your kids don't want to come and run. Like, they don't probably want to come and run doing business right for me, but I can still leave that as a legacy if I shift over from self-employed to actually owning my business and have the systems in place. And when I pass on, I can leave that business and it can operate. They can oversee it, but it can operate without them physically having to go and put in all the work, because I put in the work when I was self-employed in my own business. So it's really the prepping season. You really need to understand the prepping season and be willing to prep and be willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the work in order to leave that legacy and that wealth for my family. Um, so I really suggest people listen to that. It's TD Jakes, Prepping for the Promise. And he also talked about hunger. A lot of times we want things, but we're not hungry for it. And if you're not hungry for it, you're not going to do it. And he elaborated on God knows exactly what we want and what we ask for. And sometimes what we ask for is like this, or the appetite is this small. So that's what he's going to give us. And then we're wondering why he gave Starshima. Why Starshima got the whole steak over there and I got a sliver of the steak? Well, Starshima was hungry over there and she asked for the whole steak. And she did the work to get the whole steak. I want the whole steak sometime, but I'm not putting in the work and I'm not really asking for it. I'm not driven to go get it. So whatever you're asking for, you have to be willing to work for it because it's not just going to drop down in your lap. If you want certain finances, I honestly believe you need to prep for those finances. You need to prep your if you got bad spending habits, you have bad credit, you don't know how to manage money. How can you ask for millions and expect him to deliver that to you? If he delivered it to you, you're going to squander it. You're not going to know what to do with it. So why would he give that to you? You need to go prep. And that's where I'm at
Mhm.
right now. In every aspect of my life, I feel like I'm prepping for what I've asked for. I'm prepping for the promise. Yes, he said we can live in abundance, but how can you have an abundance if you're not even prepping for it and you're not ready for it? If he gave you it, what would you do with it?
Mhm.
And so I really just think we all really need to go back and look at you think, oh, well, I didn't get this or I didn't get that. And he gave, she was blessed with this and that. I honestly used to think that I wasn't blessed with certain things because I felt like I didn't have a story. I don't have some sad story behind, my life.
Mhm.
I had a pretty good childhood. I had a pretty good adulthood. I had a decent job that paid well. I was able to pay my bills, able to take care of my kids. So I really didn't think I had a story, but everybody has a story to tell, and your story just may be different, and it don't have to be something that's tragic or anything like that. For but most people, it really is. So when you even look at most celebrities, I was listening to Oprah and Viola. I think I said her name right. And I haven't read her book. I think you said you read her book. I was
Mhm.
just listening to the interview, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go get her book because she was telling some of her story, and I'm like, oh my god, it's horrible. And so those are the kind of type of stories I always heard of successful people. They had a story to tell, something, they had a horrible childhood, they were abandoned or, just something horrible in their life happened and then they actually won in life. So I felt like, okay, since I was on this little trail of, okay, I'm mediocre, I got this decent life, I didn't feel like I was deserving of something greater. But now I do. I feel like I am. Now I'm hungry for it and I'm doing the work to get it. And now I see it coming.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome. I think that also when I think about prepping season and recognizing your prepping season, and if we're talking to women entrepreneurs and women business owners, is that I think that we also must really begin to understand what does business cycles look like.
hmm
I think, starting a business for me was just like starting a business, right? And it was like, let me do all the things that they say I should do so I look good and look like I have a business. But as I've been growing in this entrepreneurship journey and looking at ways to really bring wealth and looking at ways to stay sustainable within the market, right? And I think because a lot of us are doing it for the very first time, a lot of us are not people who study the economy and knew all these things before we went in. Now, there may be some of us who is, well, unfortunately for me, I wasn't. So when I think about the way that I help women now, and you titled this live today, like recognizing the prepping season. And when you think about prepping season comes with expansion. So all along this journey of entrepreneurship, of building your businesses, of living your dreams, that I wish that business was all uphill. I wish that we start low, we figure it out, and it just all go uphill. But the true thing is that we start at the very bottom of the graph, right? And we find new ways and new strategies and looking for the right product. And we begin to expand. And then we reach a peak in business. Some people say, hey, I hit my first 100K year. Some people say, hey, I hit a 250K year, right? So we peak. But then you also find business, the way that the graph grows is that there goes through a recession and you recess and you go back down because, oh, and I feel like this is where the recession is right now, not just in the economy, but also in business, is that real conversation we've had, right? and then you get down to a trough, and a trough is like that low spot. And I feel like in the trough is where you're really coming back, and there's some true contraction in that moment, and you're now looking at new ways and new ideas. You're looking at ways to adapt, ways to pivot, ways to conquer the market, and then you're going back uphill. Now you got the great product, it's priced at the right price, it's sitting in front of a starving market of people who need what I have, and that's where expansion is happening again, right? And then now you get a higher peak than what the peak was when you started here. So say for instance it was 100K, now it's 250K, right? But business is much of a yo-yo, and I wish I can share this with women, because again, we look at microwave success, right? Let's put it in a microwave and it's done. But this is a constant everyday effort of building your business and building that longevity and changing your family stories of what it really looks like out here. This isn't what most coaches are sharing with you, because they rather share with you a strategy that you're never ever able to implement, right? And we wonder why. Why didn't I get results from this coach? Why didn't I get this? Well, because we haven't really fully wrapped our mindsets around the things that we're doing and why we're doing them. And when we don't know why we're doing them and how we should do them, then it impacts our execution. It's real. I mean, I'd be like, why should I do this? Why should I come revisit my marketing strategy? Why should I come and revisit my marketing message? Why should I get clear again about who I am in this season? Because your name of your becoming her, right? Becoming her is an evolution. Woman evolve, right? So every day you're becoming a new woman. You're implementing new things. You're becoming stronger. And same thing with our businesses. And for us to be able to be the powerhouses behind our businesses, we must forever be becoming. We must forever be evolving. And we don't take that time. We can't knock at the door with the same set of keys, right, with the same strategies, and think that we're going to hit these business waves of what the business go through. So it's expansion, it is recession, it is being down in a trough, it is contraction, it is expansion, it's to a new peak, right? A new status quo in our business. But I think that those are the things that the conversations that we need to have to be sustainable in the market and be here for a long haul.
I definitely agree with that. Just going through the different motions, the roller coasters, the highs, the lows, like you explained, it's the ups, it's downs. You got to be ready and willing to go through it all. And I think for me, just being in the communities with different people that's going through business have really kept me grounded and kept me able to um appreciate those times. I actually look back on times when, and I just believe every level of business that we hit, we're going to hit these same these same things will come up, but they just come up a little bit bigger. And since you fought the little one already a while back, you could just got to build a little bit more muscle to deal with the bigger one, and just know this is part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
um and just for me, it's just really, I really just say getting the support that you need, getting around the people that's actually doing it. Be willing, like I told you today, I'm willing to take a trip wherever I need to take a trip to get in the right rooms, to get around the right people. um like, and I share with you, an opportunity that I have. I don't even know how they found me. I have a big opportunity to work with someone, um and it's just because we're out here and we're really making a brand for ourselves. We are out here making our personal brands. We're making sure that we're relatable to people. And so when people see opportunities for us, hold on. Okay, baby. Okay. So when people see opportunities for us, they contact us, they pass those on. And I was sharing about referrals in business. That's like huge, really, really huge.
Mm-hmm.
As business owners, you're, like I said, you can't do this business alone. You're not going to survive alone. You have to meet people and build your brands, and because you just can't. Referrals are like really, really huge. That's what I call part of the expansion part of the business. Because when you first come in, you're brand new. Nobody really know who you are besides your family and your close friends, and nobody's really digging your products and services because they don't really know you. They don't really trust you. So it's like, well, what does she got? I'm gonna just go next door and get it. So it's really building that personal brand and
Mhm.
then going out building those relationships that then where you can actually expand your business. So
Mhm.
everything, like I said, everything before that, when you first get into the business, y'all, that is prepping season. Prepping season is not going to come baked and ready for you to cut and enjoy. You got to put in the
Mhm.
work, and then the expansions start to happen. You know, people reach out. And when I first met with you, I told you, hey, I want to be the household name. When they think of events, I wanted them to say my name, and I've not having done events in like 7 or 8 months, and still to this day when I see people looking for events, my name pop up 3 or 4 times in the comments. And
Mhm.
that's just you have to do that. That's it. That's where you're going to expanding. You know, you buy your house, you're comfortable in it, you had a couple extra kids, now you got to expand. We got to add on. So you start adding on to your business, and as your business grow and expand, some of those clients and some of those people that was with you in the beginning, they're going to fall off. And some of those people that was rooting for you in the beginning, they're going to fall off because they was really only there for that season, and it's
Mhm.
okay. And I had to get comfortable with that too myself. I was like, okay, well, maybe this person wasn't really here to go this full journey with me. They were here to hold my hand to get me to station B, and once I got to station B, they had to get off and I had to travel station C by myself. Or maybe I picked up another person to travel station C with me, and just maybe this person that I got off on at station B is gonna come swing back by on station Z or something. Who knows?
Mhm.
But we have to be okay with losing people that we thought was going to ride this journey with us, because everybody's not here to take the full journey. There, some of them is here just for a season, some of them is here for a lesson. So it's okay if you got to let people off. Don't take it personal, especially when you have like close friends. I think a lot of times when you go into business and you have friends and your friend is not in business, the friendship kind of break off. I have a friend, you know, we've been friends for a long time. Not that we're not friends now, but our friendship is kind of drifted and changed. And when we get together and we talk, it's still good. Everything's good. There's no friction there, but we don't talk and hang out like we used to, just because I'm on a different journey.
Mhm.
I'm building my business and she's doing, you know, what she's doing. And at first I was just like, well, God, some of the people that I really thought was going to be here and write this full journey with me, they're not really here like that. They're here if we call and talk, you know, here and there, but they're not the ones that I'm talking to every single day that I'm like, girl, this just happened. Or, you know, when my excitement in business happened, they're not the first person that I call anymore. It's different people.
Right.
Um, and I started to look at that like, wow, you know, do they not care? It's not that they don't care. They're just excited. They're excited too, but they're living their lives, and we have to be okay with that. And that's why we have to have other women in business that's going to share that excitement for you when they call you and tell me, hey, I just closed my first $10,000 client. You're just as happy for them as you would for you, and then and vice versa. When you call them and tell them something, they're happy for you. But sometimes when you have people that's not in business, they don't understand it or they think you're bragging
Mhm.
about it. And
Yep.
that's why I would say it's not about, for me, I don't really brag or boast about it, because I feel like everything I get and everything that I do, every way that I'm successful in business is because of God. So when I
Mhm.
get on and I tell people about it, it's because I'm praising God for it. I'm praising Him, and I'm
Mhm.
praising Him in public. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not asking for Him for things in private and then get it in private and then praise Him in private. I want everybody to understand and know how He is working in my life, because if I can get somebody to say, well, look at the things that He's doing in her life, what can He do for me?
Mhm.
You know, and then it's not about what can he do for you, but I actually started asking him, what, how can you use me to do the thing that you need me to do? And then when I started asking that, that's when the other doors started opening, because I took me out of it and said, use me as you see fit. When he started using me as I see fit, girl, got me over here doing things I never thought I could do.
Right. Right. That's kind of how it works, huh?
And it was just like, I'm not going to use you where you think you're good at, where you think you got it all together at. I'm gonna go over here and pull all these little weaknesses out, and I'm gonna make you have to build that muscle to go out and do it. And that's what he's really been doing. Because I tell you, I was looking through my phone and I saw pictures today. My very first picture, and you took it actually. You know, I'm over here trying to get my first little business photo shoot going on, and just the innocence that was there, the cluelessness. Of everything and thinking them now back then I thought everything was perfect. I'm this big business owner. I'm the boss lady. That's why I was the boss lady. You know, I was the boss
Right.
lady. Didn't have a clue.
Right.
And so those pictures, just looking at them, just brung so so much memories, and I was remembering back at the time. I didn't know what health problems I was going through, but now I know the health problems I was going through at that time. And I'm like, you would never have tell that I was going through all the things that I was going through. I was just happy this not kid, but kid to so to say, starting this new business. Now, no clue what to expect, what's going on, and now I look at today and I'm like, oh my god, now I'm the adult to me, the mature me that knows, life ain't peaches and cream, and this business is about to kick your ass.
Right. Hmm.
um, and so we're just looking at, and that's why I was just like, it just all goes back to the prepping season, and I just think about all of what God has had me do that I thought I couldn't do. Like I couldn't pass a program because I couldn't get in front of a class of 20, 30 people and basically say who my neighbor was. And after she just told me, hey, my name is such and such, I'm this age, and I'm doing this, I'm taking this course for this reason. I could not get in front of people and say something that simple. The only person in there would have known I was wrong was her. And she wasn't going to get up in the middle of the room and say, hey, Nakia, that's not right.
Hmm.
Um, but I just couldn't. I didn't have the guts to. I didn't have the courage to, and I cared too much about what other people thought.
Mm.
And
Yep.
so, and that's why I just feel like this is probably what he's been wanting me to do: take women on a journey from the beginning. But he knew I couldn't have done it had he said, "Here you go. This is what you're going to do today." So he said, "I'm gonna give her something she's real passionate about, and that was parties. I'm gonna give her something she's passionate about, something she's confident in doing, and she's behind the scene. Don't have to be too much up front." But that slowly got me in front of people and got me comfortable with, posting about my business, because that's what happens a lot of times. We have great ideas, we have good businesses, we're just scared to tell people about them because we're scared of what they're going to say. We're scared of their rejection, and we shouldn't be, but we are, and we're human, we all are. But he built me up. It just slowly and surely just built me up to where I'm at now, and I look back and I'm very grateful, and I'm just like, that was definitely my prepping season, and I know I'm still in my prepping season because now I'm getting invited to do different things, and I'm taking on everything, and I'm just like, I'm not saying no to nothing, because you never know what God's reason. He's sending people to have you speak and do certain things because there's somebody in that room that you're probably supposed to take on this journey with you. um so just like looking at the pictures today, and I was like, yeah, I've definitely been in a prepping season, because I'm not, I was a full blown adult, but when I'm looking at these pictures, I just see the so young me, the innocent me, not really knowing what I'm getting into, kind of. And then I look at me now, I'm like, I'm this mature lady. I'm saying, I thought I was a boss lady then. Shoot, who do I think I am now?
That journey of becoming, right? It's not what I think people and women should really understand is that becoming is never ending until the time on earth has ended. Every day you're evolving and becoming somebody new, right? Every day, like before I wake up in the morning, before my feet hit the ground, when I say my morning prayer, is God, who do I need to be today? Who do I need to become? Right? To do what it is that you have for me to do today. And that's where we have to stay fresh. Like I remember when I didn't have that kind of mindset, I was the frustrated, the overwhelmed. If I didn't close the deal, then I was looking at, I'm quitting. What am I doing? Right. But when I'm on, I realize that this is a journey. And I think Nipsey Hussle talks about it's a marathon, right? And you become that person you need to become every single day, knowing who you are, not the titles that you wear, but who you are as an individual and as a person. That true identity allows you to be able to thrive even in your prepping season. Because for me, prepping season is a lot of work. Prepping season, if you don't have endurance, right? If you don't know who you are, you're going to struggle. If you don't have a support system of women to uplift you and encourage you and to be your pain partners when you're trying to show up on social media to make sure you stay consistent, but you've fallen, um, feel like life is falling apart behind the scenes. You can't share that with everybody, but you can share that with a particular type person. And having like-minded women in your communities where you can go to is absolutely important. To me, that's the soft side of life right now, is becoming, right? People think it's relaxation and it's all these things. I think my real soft side is knowing who I am, recognizing my strengths, embodying every bit of who I am, revolutionizing my identity, is what makes me the powerful being that I am today that can fit into all my roles, whether it's a coach, whether it's an educator, whether it's a mother, whether it's a wife. I think that's the soft side of life for me right now.
I like that. Yeah, because I had to ask. I said, "What? Okay, y'all all talking about this soft life. What is the soft life?"
Hmm.
I had to ask. 'Cause I'm like, because if it means just kicking back, not doing nothing, letting the man take care of me, then I'm like, no. It's great to
Yeah.
have a man to take very um ended, strong-willed, and so yeah, but yeah, the soft life is actually putting in the work now. To me, is putting in the work now. So when I am older, I can relax, kick back, and just enjoy life. So while I'm able to, I'm an adult, but so I'm not a kid. I'm grown, but I'm still young enough to where I can put in the hours and put in the work and be tired and be okay with that right now. And I'm like, if I give the next 5 years to my business, then I'm gonna probably be set for the rest of my life. And then I can start enjoying life and living that soft life. I'm gonna say soft pink because I
So
like
let me
pink.
ask you, because some women may be on the call and they may be hearing like Nikki, you saying you dedicating the next 5 years. Well, maybe they got small kids at home, maybe they got a husband at home, maybe they got all these things. Like, and how do you juggle? Like, let's have a real conversation. How do you juggle the wife, the mother, the significant other, the girlfriend, and still pushing your business?
That right there is a challenge. I have to use a calendar. I use a calendar, and if we have a date night, it's going in calendar. I literally put my daughter time that I pick her up in a calendar. You guys may say this sound crazy, and I don't want to run a business. If I got to live on a calendar, but you really need to live on a calendar to make sure that you're giving everything the right amount of time. Sundays are my days where I generally don't do business. That is family day. I go to church on that day. I cook that day, and I'm just free to be whoever they need me to be. But I had a discussion with my family, and my kids are older. My youngest is 16. I had a discussion right now, and I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it so that I can give you guys a better life. And this is what I need from you right now. I am going to have to put this amount of time into my business over the next few years so later we can enjoy it. So you just have to have that conversation with your family. And to be honest, you just have to make a decision on what you're going to do and then just space it out. Sometimes I might have to go to a movie tired because I worked all day. Um, and then being my own boss, I can really schedule my life around whatever I need to schedule around. So I know if we have something planned next week, I just won't schedule appointments around those times or that day. Like I'm here in Texas, the grandbabies. I knew I was coming here for a couple weeks, so this week I didn't. My schedule is very light. Can I take people that contact me last minute? Yeah, I can. Just don't expect the whole professional background and the noise because I'll let them know, hey, I got my grandbabies with me, so you might hear some extra noise like y'all hear now that's going on. So I kind of picked and choose what clients I was willing to see this week that I can know, okay, they won't mind the kids in the background. But that's just part of having your own business. You can be flexible. And I can say, hey, I can see you later in the evening when they're probably more calmed down because during the middle of the day they're like all over the place. I can see you later in the day that way they're more calmed down and it can be a little more professional setting, or I can see you next week. So I have the ability to do things like that as a business owner. I can do that, and that's kind of what I done. I kept this week pretty open. I had a couple appointments because it was like a couple people contacted me and I took it, but I'm not booked down with appointments because I did want to be able to spend some time with them as well. So it's just using your calendar and having your own business. You can just be flexible. You really can. And I know because that I did not put 100% in this week. Next week, I am going to really have to grind next week. I'm gonna have to like maybe the next couple weeks. I'm gonna be trying to pick up what I didn't do in this week. Hey, Eleanor, yes, flexibility. Being your own boss is definitely flexible. As we shared earlier, had I still been with my corporate job, I would have had to ask to have a week off. And then if it wasn't enough time, They would have told me no. If I didn't have PTO or vacation, they still would have told me no. Had I still came, probably I would have just had gotten written up for it. So I didn't have to deal with any of that um, coming out here now. So I definitely think having my own business, controlling my own time, I'm able to be flexible and I own my freedom. So I think it's all worth the work that you have to put in. And I definitely know, I believe in the compound effort. If you put in the work now, it's definitely going to pay off later. Definitely work off a calendar. If in my calendar, if it's not in my calendar, it don't exist. And you have to set boundaries for your business too. Like I won't see clients after certain times unless it's like an emergency and type of thing. Like they really work during business hours, like literally, and they can't. And I'd offer like a Saturday once a month. So if you can't get with me Monday through Friday before 5 p.m., then I'll offer you a Saturday. But I really don't want to see clients after 5 p.m. because that's kind of my time where I can wind down and be home with my family. And that's part of the reason why I want to start my business so I can, be home and not, because I work 12-hour shifts, 4 or 5 days a week. And when you get home, you're just super drained and super tired. And the type of work we done, um, working, I was just more tired and stressed. And ever since I've transitioned to my own business, it may seem like I'm working more and doing more, but I'm more there than I ever was when I was working. So
Nice, because
that's
I
how
just think
I
that,
juggle it.
yeah, I was just asking because I think that in the space of women and women entrepreneurship, especially with trying to juggle all the titles, we as women naturally we put ourselves on the back burner, right? We wait for our dreams and aspirations. Some of the clients that I work with, the language that I'm hearing now and what they're saying is why now versus 2 years ago. Well, I've done all the things. I raised the family. I did the wife thing. I've done all these things. Now my children are grown. They're out of the house. I have all this education and I don't know who I am.
Right.
Like they've lost themselves along this journey. So I believe that we as women, we put all the things before our dreams, goals, and aspirations. Then we wait until after all those things are gone. We've completely have lost who we are in raising our kids and being a wife and being a family and doing our career thing. So, how do we wedge the gap between raising families, being wives, and still heavy on women ownership? I think that that's a real conversation because it is a true barrier that
Hmm.
women think I have to wait until I'm 50. I have to wait until retirement that I start this thing. But that's why I was asking the question, well, what are the things that we can do to be able to move forward? Nikki, I hate to cut us short, but it's 6 o'clock.
Yep.
I'm gonna tap out just for a second, just so I can log into my next call. I thank you all for so
No.
much for the conversation. Thank you for having me here. So maybe that'll be our next one is how do we address those barriers of women
Right.
entrepreneurship? So you can
Right.
wrap it up if you like. I'm just gonna jump into the call because there's 6 on the other
All
side.
righty.
All right, sis.
Thank you for joining me. All right. We are about to head out of here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Becoming Her is every other Thursday, the first and third Wednesday of the month. We have another engagement that we are heading off to. And you guys, I just want to tell you, as women business owners, we have to get in communities where there is other women that will support what we do and have a support system available because we need them. We need them to really be successful. Um, we are putting on a person 2 day next level event May 27th, the weekend, Memorial Day weekend here in Folsom, California. We are going to be doing our roundtable Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the link is on my Facebook. You guys join us Friday. Join in for the roundtable. It is free. And to come and join in on the call, you do have to register because we're keeping count of who's coming in, and we're intentionally reaching out to our past attendees. We had quite a few women on a couple Fridays ago. This was supposed to be a one day, one evening type of event. We had a bunch of positive feedback. Women came in. and was moved, was able to take information and apply it to their businesses. So we decided that we're going to continue on into our main event, which is a Memorial Day weekend in May. So I know Eleanor, hey, thanks for joining in. You're new to the Becoming Her show. This is my show, my personal brand. Just coming out and sharing with you women some things that we have going on in business and some of the things that we have overcome in business, and we take questions and from you guys and kind of see what you guys want to talk about in business and come back and answer them. Myself, I am a business wealth coach, and Starshima is the iconic woman coach. So you have two coaches for free coming on here talking to you, helping you out. If you have any, tonight was kind of different because we changed the time. I'm not sure if everybody got the gist that we changed the time, but we come on here and we give you guys free advice, free help. You can DM us and we'll come on and do this next show based off of what you guys want to talk about. Tonight we talked about our prepping season, making sure that you understand when you're on your prepping season, it is not going to be easy. It is work. Don't give up. Have faith. Keep moving forward because the breakthrough is on the other side of what is very uncomfortable. But I have to get off of here. I'm joining Starshima on her platform, on her show. And I will see you guys Friday at the roundtable. Check my Facebook page for the link. Just remember, you have to register. You guys have a great night. Bye.